Hey, howdy, hey, it is Shiny here, and I'm recording a video again. Yay! I'm gonna upload this pretty soon after recording, and this is gonna be a quicker one, too. So, yeah, let's just jump right into it, I guess. So, today I am talking about the build mode. Not something I typically talk about. And it's because recently I've been playing the build mode a little bit, not too much, and I kind of just want to talk about it. Because it's not bad. Okay, look, I'm gonna be real with you. The build mode is not the worst, like, mode for Fortnite. Obviously, I still think zero build is superior in, like, almost every way possible. But I don't find the build mode to be the worst mode in the game. I think that still goes to Arena because of how sweaty it is, but it makes sense as to why that's sweaty. I don't hate Fortnite with builds. You know, I mean, that's how the game was played for a really long time, so it makes sense as to why the build mode would not be the worst thing ever, because Fortnite was initially built with the build mode in mind, and you know, the first two maps kind of showed that, especially like the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 map. I'd say even more so with the Chapter 2 map. They were both heavily like build focused, whereas Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 have been kind of a mix of both, like zero build and builds. I would say Chapter 4 is definitely more zero build centric with its map, but that's just me. I really like the Chapter 4 map a lot. But Chapter 3 was an interesting one, purely for build mode, because I feel as though zero build wasn't that great until Season 4. So I kind of want to talk about build mode, and like what Epic could potentially do to kind of fix the mode, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are not going to the build mode, and this is going to tie back to some stuff that Cyber PK said, and where he said they should just completely revamp the build mode. Now, sure, Sweats might not like this because they already like understand the build mode right now as is, and they understand kind of its functions and how it works. But the issue with Fortnite building is that it's very ping focused, and while ping kind of drives a lot of stuff in every game, especially like shooters, I would argue that Fortnite build mode especially is extremely ping reliant. If you have bad internet, you're not going to be doing much in the build mode, which is why zero build is so great, because you can be playing with people from the other side of the world and still be able to, you know, enjoy the game, because it's not very build centric. You're not, even if you're lagging, you know, you're just not going to be experiencing anything too rough. And that's honestly why I've started playing zero build, because it's just a lot more fun. But I don't hate the build mode. I can play the build mode and still see moderate success. Hell, I've gotten a few wins in the build mode this season already. So what's the problem with it is the big question. Like, what is the big issue with the Fortnite build mode? And I really do think it's just the fact that it's super ping reliant, and that players have gotten just too good. I really feel like build mode players are just extremely sweaty nowadays, and I think that drives a lot of people away. Let's think about the fact that if like Fortnite was not very sweaty with the build mode, it probably would be played more, I'd argue. Now, Fortnite clearly wants to do things like introduce new ways to play Battle Royale and all that. I mean, they did zero build. I would not be surprised if in a future season they did first person. What could keep the build mode more relevant? Because we don't want Epic Games to shut down those servers. At least I don't want them. I don't know why I said we. Again, like I said, revamp the build mode. You know, wall taking is a really big thing. Maybe make that an actual mechanic. You know, I mean, there's a lot they can do. I think building shouldn't be as difficult as it actually is. I feel like it should be a lot easier to get behind, especially with things like 90s and box fighting nowadays. Personally, I feel like it could be a lot more like just accessible to some people. So like people who aren't as good at it kind of have like a training wheels kind of thing, where they can kind of have a little bit of an easier time but not have a super insane advantage over players who are better at building. And again, I just want it to be less ping reliant. And I know that there's definitely ways of getting around that, but it's not as easy as some people might think. Personally, I think that Epic Games should definitely add something, like a fifth building piece or something along those lines. Or maybe they could add like a little 1x1 build that worse players can have, so that way they can box up quickly, but it uses a lot of mats. You know, something like the Porta bunker, where instead of it just kind of being a little bunker when you throw it down, it uses your mats that you've been harvesting. I feel like that could be a great way of kind of introducing these lower level players. And I also want to talk about editing, because editing gets really difficult, especially. I think editing is where things get really intense for newer players that aren't as good at the game as other people. Personally, I have little to no issue with my edits and stuff like that, probably just because I play on PC, but you know, personally, I would like to see editing become easier for lower level players, and I really don't know how they can do that. I know that there's probably some solution out there that makes sense, but I don't know, man. I just want to see editing, especially, or you know what, maybe Epic Games removes editing altogether. While I don't think that would be a very good change for the build mode because it's so integral to it right now, you know, I mean, if push comes to shove, that could be a solution. Would it rile people up? Absolutely, but I just don't see editing being removed. So, what could they do for that? Make pre-edits or something like that? Maybe you're able to bind one of your edits to a specific button on your edit, like when you go into edit mode, so you can just press one button and then immediately just have it there, and maybe it takes an extra second to do, so it just becomes a little easier for these lower level players. What I'm trying to do here in my suggestions is just kind of lower the skill, like entry level, you know? I also think that skill-based matchmaking actually does this a little bit of a favor, because personally, whenever I'm playing with friends, I always make them the party leader, because I know that my lobbies can get really sweaty, and if I'm the party leader, then things just become difficult for them. So I really don't think skill-based matchmaking is much of an issue here, as much as I think it's just the building itself. I really hope that Epic Games one day come up with like some sort of a solution to make the build mode more accessible. I would love to play both modes, honestly, both zero build and normal builds. I would absolutely love that, but I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do that personally. Anyways, that's going to be it for this video. I know it was a shorter video, but I just kind of wanted to rant about it because it came to my head. And yeah, I just want to be able to see both of these modes kind of thrive. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in a future video. Bye.